Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to these messages. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out the description box for ways to support our channel. Thank you. What's good, family? It's me again. Today's topic is going to be about cryptocurrency and the direction that I personally, just in my humble observation, see the world going. If you look at what's going on currently, they talk about a coin shortage and all these different things. I humbly believe that this is going to be a segue to starting to streamline some of the paper currency, some of the hard currency, and either start to merge it together, like, have currencies based on regions and things like that. Like you've got the euro, which will cover all of those countries that accept it. Like I think there's going to be like a super dollar, you know what I mean? Um, where Canada, America, South America, this hemisphere basically will operate on like a super dollar. And like I think the euro is going to be a big one, the yen is going to be a big one. Um, I think a lot of the smaller currencies are going to start to disappear and get swallowed up. Some of the currencies of some of these sovereign nations will be will start to be devalued, and you'll see a huge uh, inflation on it, and just kind of like what we're seeing with the dollar right now, and what we have been seeing with the dollar. That was kind of like a precursor to what was coming, and heck, they may even decide to jump that stage and go straight to the cryptocurrency since it's becoming so popular. You got a lot of free platforms out there to where all you had to do is really just sign up and mine what they call mine some of this currency, and that only really involves like having an app on your phone or having uh, something on your desktop or a string of devices all networked together to either mine as a single or multiple entities. If you have multiple accounts, you can set up multiple devices to mine, all this currency. And so this is what a lot of these people are starting to do. You got whole countries that are starting to look into making that transition into strictly operating on that cryptocurrency, or just into something that is more regulatory, that they can more easily control, and it's going to be less of a hassle when you do those electronic transfers, etc. Um, yeah, I think entities like Western Union, once again, some of these governments, I think a lot of these different organizations and entities are going to start making it available to pay. Like right now, some entities will accept like Bitcoin, Litecoin. Uh, there's a few popular ones out there, Ethereum. Um, yeah, these are all just like real basic ones, and they're pretty darn expensive. Like when you start doing your research on some of these cryptocurrencies, you'll see that there's some of them worth a little bit of money. And so if you get in on the front end of some of this currency, like I said, when it's either in its mining stage or like in its initial public offering stages, when it's worth pennies on the dollar, you jump in on that investment, and next thing you know, it could be the next Bitcoin, it could be the next Litecoin or Ethereum coin, So that's one thing I want to encourage family to do, and it really, it doesn't hurt you, man. It doesn't hurt you to take $20, $30. Do your research. Do a meditation, check with your intuition, find out which one you want to invest in and go with it. You know what I'm saying? Throw $100, $50 at it, and just forget about it. Just forget about it. And every so often, throw another 20 on it. Throw another 20 on it. You feel me? And like I say, when you're buying these stocks at pennies on the dollar or less than a penny, you know what I mean? Some of these stocks are pretty, you know, you can get vast amount of shares for, $100, $200. Next thing you know, if that thing ends up just worth $1, you've made quite a bit of capital off of that. So I do want to encourage family to start to look at these different avenues that are currently available to us. We also want to start looking into investing in some of these natural resources. When you look at some of the Agenda 21 parameters, they would like to, centralize a lot of these resources. They would like to take control of a lot of our natural resources, the companies that are pulling the resources out of the ground and the resources themselves. If you look at a lot of the scrap industry that's coming from the inner cities and the different, sacrifice zones around the country, they put that stuff on a boat and they ship it overseas. And those people overseas are melting it, smelting it down, refining it. You know what I mean? And why are we not doing that here? That's something I would like to get into, is start to salvage some of the precious metals out of, old and recycled cell phones and old recycled laptops and these different technologies. You can pull some of those precious metals out of there and smelt it ourselves. You know what I mean? We can have little blocks of palladium, blocks of, little gold ingots. You feel me? And that's real gold, because once you put it through its process and purify it, then it's pure gold. It's pure silver. It's pure palladium. It's pure whatever. You know what I mean? And you get multiple different resources and different minerals from the recycling of old technology, those old boards and different things. And it might only be small pieces on each device, but those small pieces add up, So I do want to encourage us not to overlook investing in some of the raw materials, some of the minerals, some of the companies that are pulling these materials out of the ground. Because again, if you can get in on the ground floor, like if these companies are just in their initial stages and they're doing their initial public offerings, you can jump in on those stocks and get them for 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents. Things like that's just an example of, some might be a couple dollars, $3, $4, $5. You know what I'm saying? That's still a worthy investment, because I believe, again, in the future, coming up within the next year to 2 years, possibly 5 years, I'll give it 5 at the most, we'll start to see the acquisition and the movement on the natural resources and the companies that are producing them and pulling them out of the ground and refining them. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at companies like Tesla, and you look at the massive expansion and the massive forward vision that these people have, they need a lot of copper. They need a lot of those raw materials that are coming out of the ground in those gigafactories to produce some of these batteries and some of this other technology that they're coming with. So that is definitely, again, if you're looking for future investment, this is not, it may not turn around and come back tomorrow. It might, you know what I'm saying? You never know. You don't know what's going to happen in the stock market. But I can tell you this, all those people that are selling right now, you're going to regret it later, because that's what the rich and powerful do. at times like this. When you look at people like Warren Buffett, or you look at, some of these major investors, some of these major philanthropists, they'll tell you that this is a perfect time to acquire some of those, that low-hanging fruit, as me and my peoples like to call it. So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I do want to apologize. I look rather, I'm showered and fresh, but I look rather unkept. I'm sorry I didn't shave today. Oh, my people's Kidder would be on my tail. He'd be like, man, you get that hair off your neck. What you doing? Oh my gosh, he used to clown me so bad, man. We'd be getting ready to go prayer, or meet up to do meditation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be unkept, and I'd have like say the hair on my neck, and he would scold me, chastise me about having that hair on my neck. Boy, if I told you once, I'll tell you again. Every time I see you, you get that hair off your neck. I'm like, oh my gosh, come on, bruh, come on, man. So anyway, shout out to the fam. What's up, Kidder? If you ever come across this message, man, give me a shout. Anyway, I digress. But again, we're coming to a different phase. We have to be versatile and flexible to change with the times as we see them coming. You feel me? I can tell you this. A lot of these brick and mortar companies that we see in 2020, most of them are not going to make it past this challenging time, because during this model, what a lot of companies noticed is that they can function, remotely, and that in itself will save a company money as far as having a physical building, an overhead on that building to house a place for your people to come and work together. But with the technology and everything being what it is, the blessing of this camera that I'm actually coming to you from, they're able to conduct meetings, they're able to conduct interviews, they do hiring, they do everything remotely now. It's possible, and they've proven they can do it via email and fax, and electronically signed documents with the Adobe and all these different things that we have on our smartphones now. We can scan documents with our smartphones and submit them. So we've come a long way as a society, and a lot of businesses, if they're not able to flex, to make that pivot during this time of transition, to be able to go online exclusively and offer their products, or to be able to go remotely and have their employees function from their own personal location, no matter where it may be, whether it's a coffee shop or what have you. I can sit down wherever as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection, and I can connect via Skype or Zoom or whatever. And so, yeah, I believe that model has been proven to work now. And I can tell you firsthand that when you walk into an electronics store like Best Buy, and you are not able, or Office Depot, something like that, Staples, right? Someplace that has these products on the shelf, and they stock them on the shelf. When you walk into an establishment and you can't readily get a web camera, that's telling you something. That's a hint that there have been so many people that have been either required or inspired to buy a webcam, that they're not in stock when you go to the store to actually physically buy one. You have to order it online and have it shipped to you. And there's a reason why the stores aren't restocking. Let's think about that. There are some products that You know, and I'm not talking about the grocery stores. Again, I'm talking about the tech stores and some of these brick and mortars that could possibly disappear. Because again, they can offer their products online. All you got to do is shop online. We'll ship it to you. We don't need to have a brick and mortar anymore. Physical location, you know. So if you want to submit your device to the Geek Squad or whatever, just we will send you the shipping, the package, all you got, or the whatever, all you got to do is put it in, take it down to the FedEx or UPS, wherever, and ship it off to us, and we'll ship it back when it's done. You know, this is going to be the working model. Amazon and places like that are already getting the clearance to be able to deliver drones or deliver packages via drones. In some locations, they're already testing this stuff. So it's just a matter of time. Once they perfect that model, that they're going to exclusively go to offering that service, you know. It's going to be hard to keep drivers. It's going to be hard to rely upon the human aspect of it. So if I can put it on the machinery, put it on the drone, and actually have that drone go to point A, drop off, come back, you know what I mean? Then that is, man, that is key right there. So we have to see that, you know, society is changing. The model of what the future will be is changing right before our eyes. And we have a chance to be a part of it or be subject to it. If you get on that wave, if you're ahead of the curve, if your insight is working, if your third eye and clarity is there, you can see the pattern of events and where they're going. And again, you can either be a part of it or you can be subject to it. It's a choice. It is a choice. And unfortunately, there are people on this planet that don't have that choice. They don't have that opportunity. But I believe that the ones that do, we have a responsibility almost to make the correct choice for those who can't make it. You feel me? Too many times I see people in positions of, you know, wealth and stature, man. They have a platform. They have a springboard almost, not a platform, a springboard to reach the masses with. And so many people squander that. They take that for granted, or they use it for other purposes, you know what I mean? And I humbly believe that any enlightened being, any awakened being, once given that platform, or once you have that sort of capital, resources, you have that sort of network, you know what I mean? That in itself is going to start to change the world when people of consciousness and sentient beings of this planet start to take control of the currency, the assets, and the resources of this world, and we start to balance the equation. Do not wait on them to do it, because they haven't done it yet and they don't plan on doing it. It is up to us to rise up together and make a collective decision that we are going to acquire with our hard-earned sweat equity, our money, our blood, sweat, and tears. We're going to acquire the stocks. We're going to acquire the things necessary. If cash is king, then we're going to acquire the capital to put the people that will most effectively convey our point of view to the government. You know what I'm saying? That is the only possible way that you're going to be able to affect change. We have to rise up as a people, and I'm talking about white, black, everybody. We have to rise up together, pool our resources, and start to acquire the type of votes that are going to reflect our own personal beliefs, our own personal moral standard or fabric, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And not everyone has the same. That's why we all sit down at the table and we come together. We hammer out where our common points are. We hammer out where everybody can come together and those points that are going to be beneficial for all parties. And then you progress forward as a collective, and then you can effectively start to get some of your needs met and some of your issues addressed. You feel what I'm saying? Um, Again, coming through the changes, they want to institute this mandatory testing eventually. I think we're going to get to a point to where they're going to start to require mandatory testing. They're going to start to require um, mandatory vaccination, or like a almost like a ID, like a national ID, or like a trust pass type of thing, where you have to be scanned and cleared in order to get this pass, in order to go back, in order to work in certain zones, in order to do this, that, and whatever. Like all these things are possibilities. They could happen like at the snap of a finger. Literally, they could make a mandate and say, okay, to fight COVID, now that we've got a vaccine made, what we're going to require is that everyone in the United States gets tested. Everyone has to be tested. And once you're tested, if you've had it and you've got antibodies, and with them talking about the reinfection, scratch that, dude. Scratch that. It's going to be mandatory for everybody. Everybody. Uh, if they go that route, they would say, uh, you know, if you want this pass, hell, you may not even have to get tested. It doesn't matter. If you're positive, negative, whatever, you take this vaccine. Everyone takes this vaccine, so that way if you've got it, it'll kill it. If you don't have it, you won't get it. You know what I mean? It'll be like one of those type of catch-alls. And I think that's going to be their segue to be able to start to regulate even more so than what they're already doing. Uh, who eats and who doesn't eat, who opens and who doesn't open. You know what I mean? Because there are still places around this country, even as we speak. It's the freaking 15th of September, and there's still places that require, you have to wear a mask. They're shut down. Certain businesses are still unable to open, depending on the type of services that they're offering. So, my heart hurts for those people. And again, we've got to start to diversify, and we've got to start to be able to pivot with, the times. And I humbly believe that, things are changing, but we as a collective, we've got so much more power than we realize, that if we just come together, forget class, forget money, forget religion, forget race, forget all that. Because to those people, none of that matters. None of it. They see us all as expendable because we're not a billionaire elite. And I know that's hard pill to swallow. That's the red pill for a lot of white America. And that's why we see a lot of anger. See, a lot of white Americans are mad because they're not living the American dream. A lot of black Americans are mad because we don't even have access to the dream. So all of us have been lied to, you see. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we come together and we start to practice group economics, and we start to pool together our resources and acquire the votes and acquire the change that we want to see affected, and again, we have to find officials and we have to find politicians that are going to best align with our moral compass and the direction we want to see society go as a collective. That's going to be best for all parties, all beings on this planet. And that's just, man, that's just what it is. And when you look at the way technology is going, you know, they've got, I was watching a special on, I think it was some of the professional the teams, you know, NFL, NBA, you know, some of the standards the rigorous standards that they're going through and instituting because of social distancing and this, that, when they were talking about all the changes that they're instituting. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm making millions of dollars, but if I have to go through all that bullshit, excuse my language, if I have to go through all that crap just to freaking suit up and play, I think I'll pass. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm that, and that again, this is just a personal thing. I humbly think that by submitting, now, I don't mean if you need groceries, throwing on a mask, running in and getting your groceries, and then taking it off when you get out. That's not, you know, that's not a bad thing. Don't think of it like that. I'm talking about the people that wear the mask every flipping wear, and like they're religious about it. Oh, you have to wear a mask. You have to do da da da. Okay, sheeple. Okay, that's your personal opinion. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to judge you because of that. But don't you come judging me because I choose not to wear a mask out in the open air public. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like breathing my own exhale. You exhale carbon dioxide. Do you understand that? You exhale carbon dioxide and you inhale oxygen. What happens if you're exhaling the same air that you're inhaling? You're getting a percentage of carbon dioxide recirculating back into your system. That doesn't make any sense. Any person that really knows what it is, there's going to be a filtration system on that respirator. Like the N95s, you'll see like the little right there, you know what I mean? And that's what that's for. That's to take in fresh oxygen, you know what I'm saying? And then you're not really, I mean, you're still getting a certain amount of feedback because you are wearing a mask, but it's not as heavy because it's like the ones you'll see with the little on the side, you know what I mean? The little air pockets on the side. You know, it filters that incoming air, you know what I mean? And so does the mask. But again, when you've got it so tight on your face, you're pretty much recycling your exhale, you know what I mean? And some people, that's why they say people with health problems, people with asthma, people with emphysema, all these different things, it's hard for those people to wear masks because they need that fresh flow and steady flow of oxygen, you know what I'm saying? And not to not have their air supply kind of choked off, you know. But some people are not understanding of that. They're not compassionate of that. So I digress, man. I digress. But yeah, I think that, you know, a lot of this technology, going to new technology, keeping on that same topic, that's why we're going to start seeing the bioscans and the different things like that, you know, the different technology in your cell phone and some of these different like proximity sensors that they're coming up with that will beep and let you know when you're too close to another device, you see. And this is all going off of everyone wearing one of these little sensors or everyone having this technology on their phone, right? You know, when that phone gets so close to another phone with that same technology, it's going to alarm you and let you know, hey, you're not social distancing. And man, listen, I wouldn't put it past these people to be, it send a ping and them to know exactly who you are, where you are, who you're in contact with, how far exactly you are from that other device, everything. Mark my words, family. It's coming. It's coming. I don't know. That's just my humble opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Uh, but in closing, I just want to thank everybody for your time. I want to thank everybody for listening to this message in its entirety. And again, I want to encourage everyone to practice group economics. You know, start with your immediate family. And if you can't trust your immediate family, start with your friends, your circle, your fam. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, branch out like that. But start to pull your money and start to invest and start to acquire some natural resources, some land. You know what I mean? That's another thing that's going to be a hot commodity coming up in the near future is the land, not the inner city land, but the rural land. So, but one love, I want to thank everyone again for your time and for listening to this message. Have a beautiful day.